Premier League football is back, and so is the latest edition of your favourite podcast. We've got the biggest stories and some medium rare betting tips coming up from the latest round of Premier League football. Lots to get excited, and even, God forbid, Thomas Tuchel, make some noise about, particularly if you're one of those England fans that doesn't have to go back to Wembley again anytime soon. This is the Stakehouse. I'm Conor McCabe, and he is Lucas Dzinski. How are we doing?
Yeah, all good. To be honest, international break, I don't really watch too much of the games. I think they're just really boring. So I barely watched any of the England games or Poland games, to be honest. So
you've been stuck in like a little Premier League cocoon, basically, just waiting.
Yeah, just been waiting. The only thing I've been sweating about is like injuries to players. That's all really, and making sure Mateta's kept fit. Obviously for Palace, because I'm really bullish on them, but yeah, we'll get more into that later.
For sure. Let's just do a quick word on the internationals. I mean, England have secured qualification, so they're now...
what a shock.
Well, let me ask you this. Can they go and win it?
Don't know.
Can hear the splinters from here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
The one thing that I'll say on it is that obviously the relationship and the situation with Bellingham's really interesting, right? I mean, Bellingham has to play. You know, no matter how you feel about him, he is the best, most talented England player and has to play. And for Tuchel, you know, some of the comments he said that his mum made about Bellingham being repulsive, and then he hasn't had him in a squad since. It's all very well and good having continuity, but the bottom line is Bellingham's going to start. So Tuchel, in one sense, still has to kind of go back and start from scratch and include him. So it feels to me like Tuchel's done a lot right, and his performances have been pretty impressive of late. But he does have to integrate Bellingham back. That is a challenge, and that needs to be looked at properly before the tournament starts. And
have the performances been great? I mean,
they've been pretty good.
What decent team have they played?
This is another. That's the other opinion, but you can only beat...
That's like Southgate qualifies, right? He steamrolls the qualifiers. When he gets to the tournament, then different story.
They have looked pretty good, and you can only beat what's in front of you. But yeah, of course, that's playing devil's advocate, and obviously the tournament in different climate will be a completely different story. But well done to them. Let's see how deep they can go. But anyway, enough of that. Let's dive straight in. Our first game is Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea, and you know, be careful what you wish for if you're Nottingham Forest, isn't it? Because you sack a manager that got you into Europe, that had a tremendous season, exceeded all expectations. You hire a new manager in that the owner's mates with, and you're currently sat on 0 wins in 7 games. Should he still be there?
I mean, they just hired him a few weeks ago, right? I mean, nothing would surprise me on the Marinakos, the dodgy geezer, but I mean, you got to give him a few games at least, I'd say. But yeah, I don't agree with the appointment. I don't think he's a good manager. I don't think he's Premier League level. I think that showed at Spurs. I think it's quite fortunate for him to even win the league, win the Conference League, win the Europa League. Sorry, last season. I mean, even the game against United battered Spurs in terms of XG chances created. So yeah, I mean, this game, I don't expect them to get a result. But then again, Chelsea have not been great lately, to be honest. Barely. I mean, they beat Liverpool last week at home, great result. But in terms of XG, they got completely demolished. So yeah, I think this could be potentially a close game, but I feel like Chelsea will come out on top. I mean, Chelsea have some injuries as well to be wary of. I think Palmer's fit, right? Not sure what's going on Caicedo as well. So
yeah, fair. I mean, I agree with everything you said about it. I just think it was the wrong appointment, and that's a better way of looking at it, really, than whether he should still be there. I've got a sneaky suspicion that Forest might get something here, though. It just feels like a bit of a banana skin. I think Forest early kickoff on a Saturday, the coupon buster. I would advise people on
Gandhi, innit?
Of slotting Chelsea.
Gandhi's famous words: "Never back the early kickoff." Right?
Exactly that. And I mean, I would, unless it's dripping in value anyway, and I don't think this one is. So I would avoid. I wouldn't be surprised if Nottingham Forest got something. I'm going to stick my neck on the line as a random score prediction here and go 2-1 Forest. I've just got a feel. I'm not saying that it's the start of a turnaround for Ange, but because his overall Premier League record with Spurs was diabolical. But I just feel like the crowd will be up for this one and they might just nick it. Let's see. Brighton versus Newcastle is the scene of my first tip, and it revolves around Nick Woltemade, who has adapted to life really, really well in the Premier League. Really enjoyed him taking Gabriel apart in the air for the first goal. And sorry, not Gabriel, Saliba, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He pretended to be fouled. That was scandalous.
Yeah, that was...
By the way, that was embarrassing.
So soft, yeah.
Anyway,
and then he goes on to score the winner, which is a bit more frustrating.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, thank goodness that goal was allowed to stand for the sanity of football. And he looks a really good finisher in the air, Woltemade. But what goes unnoticed, I think, a lot is some of his link-up play. It's absolutely beautiful, his one-touch link-up, bringing players into the game who are running off him. He's got, I'm not going to say the cliche of great feet for a big man, but some of his link-up play and bringing others in, his vision, he's quite creative. And I think that goes a little bit under the radar simply because of his strength and prowess in the air. And looking at his markets, for him to score in this game against Brighton, who've been a bit leaky, is 2.75, which is okay. But I'm really drawn to his assist price. His assist price is 8.0. And for me, that is too big a gulf between the goal scorer price and the assist price. What
about score or assist?
Score or assist is in there as a market, but I'm not 100% sure that goal scorer is value at 2.75, whereas 8.0 for the assist is the value play. So particularly, as I say, with how good he is with his footwork. So for me, that's my first tip. Nick Woltemade to register an assist against Brighton at 8.0. In terms of the game itself, what's your model saying?
Bang on draw. I reckon it's saying it's going to not much difference between the two teams. So I think it'll be a close game, probably 1-1, I'd say.
Yeah, I think there should be goals in it. Two very attack-minded teams, which
should
only
2-2 maybe.
Only help the tip even more. So let's see. Burnley versus Leeds. I've got an official tip on this one as well, but I want to hear what you say first.
I think Leeds were pretty unfortunate not to beat Spurs last week. I think they completely smashed them. Spurs again, there's a bit of like hit and run. Had a chance to scored and then just kind of didn't really create much. Leeds, I think they're going forward. They were good. No end product. I feel like they were pumping a lot of balls into the box and like going nowhere. If they can get better at the finishing, they could do well. I mean, these are the must-win, I think, for both teams. Burnley, I mean, they have to win this if they even want to think about staying up. Leeds, equally, I think they'll be happy with a draw. I think they'll be... I mean, both teams need to go all-out attack, I'd say. Obviously, maybe Leeds could hold out for a draw. I think Leeds will slightly edge this, but I think this might end up being a bit of a draw.
Okay, just to pick up on a couple of things you said, obviously you talked about Leeds' finishing. I completely agree with that because they are creating chances. In the last game, they put so many on a plate for the likes of Calvert-Lewin, who didn't manage to score. But if he keeps...
He was close. He was
really close. It
wasn't bad, yeah.
Really close. And I think that he is going to continue to get chances in this team. And I think
if he can stay fit.
Once he hits the ground and if he can stay fit, his goal scorer prices in weeks to follow are definitely something that you want to be keeping a really, really close eye on.
Is that your tip?
It's not. As I say, I want to give him a few more weeks to embed himself a little bit more before I necessarily capitalise on that. My tip for this game is actually going the complete opposite way, and it's to back Burnley on the Asian at plus 0.25. Reason being for this is Burnley haven't been as bad, if you watch their performances on the eyes, as everybody says they've been. They've actually played some good stuff. That starts with the first game away at Spurs before they eventually lost 3-0. But they absolutely demolished Sunderland at home. That wasn't even close. And I think they'll really focus on their home games. They've not got a bad crowd at Turf Moor. As you say, this is must win for them. I think they'll be really set up and they'll be really, really determined for this one. And I just think, I don't see Burnley losing this game. That's the bottom line. I think they'll get at least, as you say, Leeds might not even view as a draw as a terrible result, right? Which would give us a half win here. But I think that Burnley will win this game. And so I think Burnley home and away will be a little bit chalk and cheese this season, particularly against the lower sides. I think Burnley will put all of their eggs into this basket, and I think they'll just get over the line. So I'm happy to tip Burnley not plus 0.25 on the Asian handicaps, which is sometimes listed as 0-0.5, aka halfway in between. But what that market means is that if Burnley win, then we win. If Burnley draw, then we win half. And if Burnley lose, then we obviously lose our bet. But the price on that at the moment is 1.92. Check Bet365 and the Betfair Exchange as the two places with generally the best prices on that.
I can't see that happening, but
going against me. Okay. You've just said that you think Leeds will sit in for a draw, but you can't see it happening. Okay.
No, I can't see Burnley winning. What I'm saying is Leeds will be the better team, but I can see it being a draw. I can't see Burnley winning it. Basically.
Again, I just want to caveat it. I think Leeds are a better team, right? But a better team doesn't necessarily win every game, and I think Burnley will win this game. Let's talk Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. Quite a lot to get through here for this one. I mean, my tip last time out for Munoz, it's kind of a summary of how the season's gone for me. We tipped Munoz to have 2 shots of any degree.
I did say what is the price for Munoz to score. I did say.
You did after I came up with the bet in the first place. You did say.
And he scored twice. He scored in the Conference League and then in the Premier League. Yeah,
thought was going to
double whammy.
Which I thought was going to affect his price, but I called it and then ultimately lost the bet, right? Because I took 2 shots at a much lower price, when in fact I should have had more faith in him just to score. Anyway, he did score. And
he got an assist for the own goal.
That as well. In terms of this one, I know that you've got a tip. You don't have a tip for this, but I know you've got a strong view on Palace, and I know you like to remind me every pod about my tip for them to go down. But listen, I'm not saying they're still going to go down. Obviously, that looks a mad shout right now. But they are starting to look tired, or they were before the international break, right? They ran out of steam against Everton. They had a blinding first half, and then they fell away towards the end of that game. And so while they were unlucky to lose it, which you'd be quick to point out because I know you lost on them on the bet, but the eye test showed that Everton were finishing the much, much stronger team in that game. You look at Maxime Lacroix, the centre-back for Palace, that tackle he's normally so dependent, so reliable, and that was a tired tackle to give away that pen. You look at Munoz on the flank, excellent player. He got beaten twice, laid on much too easily. There's signs coming through. Palace have got quite a small squad, right? And quite a low group of players that you can really rely on in terms of starting a match. And I just think their schedule is going to catch up on them. So I'm not saying back Bournemouth in this game, but I'm just saying be careful with that. In terms of this game, I don't have a bet, but I do have a player to put on your radar. And it's the fullback Truffert, or Truffert for Bournemouth, however you pronounce his name. I actually think he's quite...
Truffle!
if you like, mate. I think he's actually an upgrade on Kirkes. I really, really do. He's been really impressive all season. He started off very impressively in terms of the first game against Liverpool. He's got a very good appetite to get forward. His shots numbers have not reflected this as of yet. His shot numbers actually look very, very low. But the last game that they played, he had a shot and an assist in that game. So there's just signs that he's getting more and more comfortable, and I think he'll start firing off more at will. His shot on target price in this game is 5.5. I was very, very close to calling it an official tip, but in the end I've decided it's not the right fixture for it, but it's another one like Calvert-Lewin that I'm going to be keeping an eye on in future game weeks. So no tip for this one, but true fair, if you're looking for some sort of angle, you might decide that the value is there.
They're playing Forest next.
So maybe that's a better option for it, absolutely, particularly with Ange's style. So no tip for me on this game, but I don't hate Bournemouth to get something here.
You're delusional. This is my nap of the week, I'd say. Palace minus a quarter. So if there's a draw, you get half your money back. So expecting Palace to come out strong. I know what you're saying. They can be a bit tired for the fixture schedule, but look, it's been international break. I know some of the players have gone away. But I think if this game was 2 days after they played conference, then maybe it's a different story. But they should have had a fair amount of, break, even though some of the players are going international break. So that's why I'm a bit more confident going into this game. And an outside tip as well, which the probably price is not right, but if you're going to bet on anytime goal scorer, I'd say Mateta. He's quite short, I'd say evens, but if you look at his last few games, he's due some goals, like massively. He's missed quite. He's got quite unfortunate with a lot of chances recently, and I can see him getting on a score sheet for this game.
Interesting. I mean, in my view, evens is short enough on that, but
yeah, it is evens. Like I said, I wouldn't back it, but if you're going to do anytime goal scorer this game and you want a little punt, I'd say Mateta, he's due a goal, or if you want to put him in your fantasy team.
Maybe a better shot. What? So just run us through your bet again. You're going Palace minus a quarter.
Yeah, minus a quarter. So basically, if it's a draw, you get your half of your money back. So I'm expecting Palace to come out strong and win this game. Bournemouth have a bit of a mixed season so far. I'd say there's been some games that they look really good, some games quite poor. The result against Fulham, look, they won quite comfortably scoreline, but the XG was a lot closer than the scoreline suggested.
Well, Bournemouth, a mixed start. That's harsh. This is a team that lost three.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. That lost 3 of their back 4.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, yeah. Mixed start in terms of like they're not having been consistent. Obviously, given the situation, yeah, the good start. But what I'm saying is, there's been some games where you expect them to play a lot better, and they haven't.
Okay. There you have it. So 2 official tips from me and 1 from you so far. Let's move on. We've got Man City versus Everton. I mean, it's a bit interesting when you think of David Moyes' side. You think of a team that sets up shop really, really well, difficult to break down. But what I have to say, in the first half of that Everton-Palace game was really telling. I learned a lot from that game, I think, by watching it. And Palace, as I say, were sensational first half. But the ease with which they played through Everton, I was like, my God, like I couldn't believe what I was watching at times. Obviously, Everton improved a lot second half, but the fact that they went on...
The game should have been gone. There should be, it should have been 2-0. Game should have been gone, like done and dusted, yeah.
100% agree. And ultimately, the fact that they went on to win the game might paper over the cracks of how bad they were first half, because everyone's just thinking, we got the win, we got out of it, move on. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, because they are not watertight. And Man City, if they click, they could really put Everton to the sword here. I'm not betting on it, but it's just something to be mindful of. Haaland here could have a field day if he wants, because playing those through balls that Palace were doing against Everton, he will latch onto them all day long and gobble them up for breakfast. Something else to note, Grealish cannot play in this game. He's banned due to his links with City.
Banned. Oh.
It's not banned is the wrong word, but he's
he can't play because there's a loan agreement, not banned.
Yeah, ineligible. But yeah,
You're barred.
I fancy Man City to win this game very comfortably. No.
Yeah. I mean, got nothing here. City will win. We can move on probably.
Okay. Sunderland versus Wolves. I've got another official tip here. I just think Sunderland can't maintain their form. They've obviously, they're in dreamland with the points that they've picked up already, and they've done really well. Their application is good, but some of their results, I think, their performances haven't quite matched the output so far. I know that you're going to tell me they're massively overperforming XG wise.
Yeah, they are. By 6 positions, they should be 15th.
Which adds further weight to my tip here. Wolves are still bottom, but in the last 3 games, have massively picked things up, and they look.
Yeah, Wolves have been playing well.
Looking much better side, and I think they will go here and get a result. And any result will do, because my tip is Wolves double chance at 1.8, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I haven't got to bet this game, but I got the teams quite even, so I expect it to be a draw. Saying that, it's a massive 6-pointer for both teams, really. More so for Wolves. So I feel like Sunderland will probably be happy with a draw, but Wolves need to go all out, really. A draw doesn't really work for them here.
Precisely, which adds further weight to the bet, right?
Yeah.
I agree that Sunderland won't view a draw as a horrendous result. I think they obviously prefer to win, but a draw right now, they wouldn't take it, but they wouldn't be devastated with it either. Whereas Wolves will see this as a real opportunity to get 3 points. So that's an official tip for me. Wolves double chance, meaning a win or a draw, and we win our bet. Fulham versus Arsenal. What have you got?
I haven't got anything this bet, to be honest, but this game, there's a bit of value on Fulham +1, you know. Arsenal being 1.56 away, it's just short. You know, they have been good this season. Fulham, again, I feel like it's been a team that some games they've made well, some games they haven't. Bit of a mixed start, I'd say. No bet for me, but I could see being a close game. Maybe Arsenal winning by 1 goal. I don't think they're going to smash Fulham.
I think Arsenal would be happy with that as well when they just get in there, get out with a win. Fulham are just, you saying it's no bet for you. I don't think I want to bet on Fulham again all season. They're such a nightmare to try and bet on Fulham because from one week to the next, they are chalk and cheese in terms of performance, and you literally don't know what Fulham side's going to.
They could turn up and get a draw, but
exactly, and you wouldn't be surprised if they did that, right?
No.
But you're not going to bet on it with any degree of confidence. And in the same way, it's kind of hard to back Arsenal. So it's just hard to touch games for me at the moment when Fulham are involved. What's your model saying on it?
Yes, I got Fulham half goal worse than Arsenal, so
okay.
+1's a bit of value on Fulham, basically.
Okay, Tottenham versus Aston Villa. I mean, I don't have a bet on this game. Villa's starting to play a little bit better. Still look a little bit lightweight for me in terms of going forward. And, you know, Malen playing up front. He's finally scored a couple of goals, but they were his first goals in 10 games. Maybe he can now hit the ground running. But I just don't see them as a side with the same firepower when you think back to the likes of Rashford, Asensio, John Duran that was with them for part of last year. I just don't see the same firepower there, really, with Villa. Tottenham as well, a little bit up and down. So this is another difficult one to call, isn't it? Could be a draw.
I'm not convinced of Tottenham. The underlying numbers not been great. They're massively overperforming. They should actually be 13th, so they're 10 positions higher than they should. They're the biggest overperformers in the league. Whereas Villa's probably, Villa's had a terrible start to the season, but maybe things might turn around. I think this could be a good game for them. Saying that, I got Tottenham as very, very small favourites this game in terms of XG wise, 0.21 goals better, so I couldn't see it being a tight game. I haven't got a bet on this game, but wouldn't be surprised if Villa somehow get something out of this game.
Okay. Let's move on because there's a bit to discuss on the next one. It's Liverpool versus Manchester United on Super Sunday, or Sour Sunday if you're a United fan. Dreading going into this game. But before we talk about it, we've just got to cover some yet more drama coming from Old Trafford during the international break, which is comments Jim Ratcliffe made on a podcast regarding Ruben Amorim and how he should be given at least 3 years to basically...
So what's it been, like a year and a half now, or not?
No, less than a year, coming up to a year, before truly assessing how well he's done. And look, just a couple of points on this, because the media have slaughtered him for this, absolutely slaughtered him. And before I defend him, I'm just going to say that I don't believe Jim Ratcliffe is in the right position, and I don't believe that Ruben Amorim is in the right position. But I just want to also say and judge it on the basis of these comments alone, and I think the comments were a good idea, right? People saying that this adds more pressure on Amorim. That's not true, right? You get initial headlines of this. It might make the back pages the next day. But at the moment, every United game, there's a sideshow going on about whether it's Amorim's last game at the club and all of these kind of questions. That just needs to be put to bed now. And that's what Ratcliffe has aimed to do by saying he's got 3 years. Because ultimately, with that pressure, coming on, people talk about the manager's dreaded vote of confidence, where an owner comes out and says, we're behind the manager, like West Ham's Karen Brady did with Graham Potter before sacking him 3 weeks later. That happened this season. Ratcliffe coming out and saying, no, Amorim gets 3 years, is kind of saying this is not just one of the usual dreaded votes of confidence. This is Amorim's not going anywhere. So stop talking about him going somewhere, because there's no story there. It's not happening. I think actually it takes the pressure off Amorim. That's one part of it. The second part of it is, whether you like it or not, and maybe I don't like it myself because I don't really think Amorim deserves to be there at the moment, but United need stability. And if they believe Amorim is the right man, then they should give him that time, even though I don't agree. But our mindset has to be one of stability. We are so far off it. Chopping and changing managers for 13 years hasn't worked. So if stability is what it takes, then so be it. And that's the message that he's trying to get across. And the final point of this is, I think there's a message in there to Ruben Amorim as well, directly, because some of Amorim's comments have been a joke this season, right? Things like, oh, 1 minute I want to be here for 10 years. The next I think I want to leave. It's like, you want to leave? Then leave, right? You don't deserve to be here if that's your viewpoint.
What's the sentiment amongst fans?
But hang on 1 second, right? Because
Okay.
Amorim saying I want to leave, in his mind, he might be thinking, if I get sacked by United, it's not the worst thing. I can go there. It's been too short a time. I can play that card. I can go somewhere else. I can rebuild my career. I can get a massive payout. There's part of Amorim's head that might be swayed and not fully 8% in it, thinking if I get sacked, it's not a disaster. And I think Ratcliffe, by saying, no, 3 years, you're not going anywhere, I think it says to Amorim, right, I'm not going to get a payoff. I'm going to get 3 whole years, so people can't even say that I haven't had a proper run at this, so I've got to make it work. I think there's a lot of actually clever thinking behind Ratcliffe's comments, and I think it makes sense for all of the reasons that I've just talked about, and I think a lot of the media has been too short-sighted to really pick up on those things. And a lot of United fans aren't the smartest, right? And a lot of them are saying things like, it's silly, we're putting more pressure, Amorim doesn't deserve 3 years, yada, yada, yada. And ultimately, there you have it. For me, the comments are okay. Even though, again, just to reiterate, do I think Ratcliffe's doing a good job overall? No. And do I think Amorim's doing a good job overall? No. Let's move on to the game. How many are we going to lose by?
Well, no. Where's the fan base? Like, are they split?
Yeah. Very split.
Amorim in and out.
Very split. Very split. Half of them want Amorim in and half of them want him out. From what I can tell, that's kind of the split. And you can't blame the fans for the ones that want him out. It's pretty obvious. Worst ever Premier League record. Some of the defeats, some of the interviews, some of the comments. It doesn't need explaining. The ones that want him in, I think, are trying to look long term. They've been burned by sackings before. It's kind of recruit for one manager, sack him, and then another manager's got to deal with players that aren't his. They don't want to go through the same merry-go-round once again. Ruben Amorim is definitely a beneficiary of time. If he was in the job 4 managers ago, he'd have been gone. But United are so determined to try and take the time to do the project correctly. Amorim is the beneficiary of that. And that's why a lot of fans, I think, are still happy for him to stay. But the biggest one for me is still the system. I just don't see how the system works.
Hey, you say that. I know you can't put your hat on this metric forever, but on expected points, United actually 4th. It's not bad, is it?
No,
I know. The fixture start has been probably quite easy for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't played too many hard teams. So, equally, Liverpool haven't been great at all this season. There's been some really shocking performances, I'd say, but somehow they've been getting results. I got Liverpool massive favourites, but game like this, anything can happen.
Yeah,
it's actually going to be quite a good game to watch, and I'm buzzing to watch this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's
one thing in favour of Amorim as well. His record against the big teams is pretty good.
Yeah, Liverpool got a few injuries as well, right? Gravenberch might be out. Konate, question mark as well. It's going to be a good game to watch.
The other thing as well is, I don't know if you like, the stuff about Salah is really interesting, isn't it? He agreed with Slot last year that he would be Liverpool's luxury player. So he says, if you don't make me defend, you'll always get my very best attacking output. And effectively that's why he never tracks back. That's not why he never does any defending. Now the problem is Salah's not hitting the net. And when you add to the fact that Wirtz has unbalanced that Liverpool midfield, completely can see why the cracks are starting to show there.
Salah does have a good record against United, though.
I know he
But
does.
obviously that doesn't mean much because this season he's been shocking.
But yeah, I mean, what's your prediction on it then? What's going to happen?
There's going to be a lot of goals. I think neither team can defend really at the moment. All out attack. 3-2 Liverpool.
3-2 Liverpool.
As much as I'd like to see United win, I think it's going to be a Liverpool win.
Would you actually? That's nice.
Yeah, why not? Add a bit of drama to the league.
That's nice. I appreciate that. All right. I hope I appreciate your sentiment, but I hope your score prediction is wrong. If you want a prediction from me, I think Liverpool will win 3-1. Last game of the weekend is a game I'm going to pick a fight with you in, I'm afraid.
Go on.
And it doesn't revolve around the scoreline or predicting what's going to happen. It revolves around a Brentford player who, in my opinion, isn't living up to the hype. And his name is Igor Thiago. The big thing about it was, and the thing that prompted this kind of train of thought, was the one-on-one he had against Man City. Did you see it?
Yes.
It was awful. There's ways, I get you can't convert every chance, right? But there's ways to miss chances. And he had a free run. His angle, direction of intent was completely off. Ball got stuck under his feet, couldn't get it out. The shot was so tame. It was like a League Two player's finish. It
wasn't that bad.
Dreadful.
There's been worse misses in the league. There's been worse.
Of course there was. But again, it's not how bad a miss it was. It was the way that he missed it. It was a player.
I don't think you can look into it too much, to be honest. His finishing so far has been really good. It's just he hasn't really had many opportunities. That's the thing. We haven't fed him enough.
Yeah. Well, let's see if he gets more service. But that chance, again, natural thing when you're running through on goal against the keeper dead straight, drift off to one side, create an angle for yourself, and open up the goal. Technique wise,
look, he tried to lob him, didn't work. But what are you going to say now then?
It was never the right option.
You're going to lay him to lay him.
No, I'm not saying that. Look, he took his penalty well this season when he took it. He got a good tap in against United. He also swung his foot wildly at one that ended up in the top corner. I'm just saying, I don't see a player that's going to go on this season for Brentford and get the goal output that can come anywhere close to rivaling a Tony, an Mbeumo, a Vissa.
Hold on, he's already on 3 goals, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying
3-4.
he started the season badly, but I'm just saying I worry with the way that he went about, and I don't want to knee-jerk one chance too much, but the way that he tried to go about taking that chance against City, because it's a big moment. There's one big moment in the game.
He's on 4.
Strikers live for that one big moment, and he absolutely,
He will score 15 goals this season at least. You'll see.
I don't think he will, but
so only 11 more to go.
It depends how many pens you get. It depends how many tap-ins he picks up.
Here we go. Go back on your word, classic.
But no, I don't think he will. But
all right, so what's your angle then?
I don't have an angle on it. I'm just basically we're here to discuss the biggest stories as well as angles. I don't have an angle directly. I think this game is very difficult to judge. I think it could go any way. I might sit on the fence here, get some splinters, and say it's going to be another draw.
I think there's small value on Brentford. Brentford's 0, so on the Asian handicap. So if it's a draw, you get your money back. You can get a price of 2.11. So yeah, I don't think Brentford will lose this. So in that aspect, I think there's a bit of value there, to be honest. Cool. West Ham, I think, look, Nuno needs a bit more time, right? He's only come in. There's a big job there. I've said this for last few seasons. Last season under Forest, he wasn't great. Massively overperformed. Brentford could get a result, I reckon. Cool.
Okay. I don't necessarily disagree with that at all. Let's summarise with tips. I'll go first. I've got 3 shots for you this weekend. We've got Burnley plus 0.25 at 1.92 at home to Leeds. We have got Nick Woltemade to register an assist at 8.0 against Brighton. And we also have Wolves double chance at 1.8 away at Sunderland. Yourself?
Official tip is Palace -1/4 against Bournemouth at home, like 1.95. Fulham, not going to make it official, but if you're going to bet, I wouldn't shy away from +1 against Arsenal. And then the second official bet is Brentford's 0 on age handicap 2.11.
Beautiful. And there you have it. Another weekend covered off. Let's see how many winners we can get from our 4 tips. We are due some. But as always, make sure that you enjoy your football, enjoy having the Premier League back. It's good to have Lucas out of hibernation, and take care of yourselves.
Cheers.